by the students and the university, I think the parliament needs to help them also manage themselves. Why? The Ministry of Education has stood its ground and they have not allowed the exams to take place. Two, I have been talking to the National Council for Education. Initially, National Council for Education communicated to the university and advised them to heed the guidelines of the government not to carry any exams. They refused. They disobeyed the National Council for Education, which is the oversight body over those institutions. Now, National Council also went to the government, went to the minister to say, hey, these people, you issued a directive, we have stopped them, they have refused. What do we do? Now, when the parliament forced the minister to stop them, everybody is now in standstill. It will be very compromising for parliament to create a window for UCU to have another way of doing those exams. Number two, Right Honorable Speaker, under the current circumstances, there are more urgent things to deal with than education. Let's be fair. Education, give me time. Let me make my point. Education and doing exams is not as urgent as addressing the spread of the virus as we are dealing with it. Yes, it's possible they can do exams online, Right Honorable Speaker, but the question would be, how can Parliament itself allow some of the students in UCU to have an edge over the other students in the whole of Uganda? It's not the only university. There are other universities like like IU, KIU, Makerere, and others. If we allow UCU to proceed with exams, even when they are online, what about the people in other universities doing the same courses? Why would we allow them to have an edge over others when there's a government force on all universities to stop? It's my considered opinion, Right Honorable Speaker, that one, we put our feet on the ground, side with the government as it has taken a stand. Students should be home, studies should halt until when the opportunity comes for them to resume. The challenge is here, Right Honorable Speaker, final as I finish. There are secondary schools, which also have online platforms. There are technical institutions that also have online platforms. They are all going to be running here that they should not do exams. After all, they have online platforms. The moment we allow one, we are opening a Pandora's box. I beg Right Honorable Speaker that we put our feet on the ground. Let UCU, like other universities, wait until the time is right. Thank you.
Now, honourable members, I do not think we took a position. We asked the Minister of Education to examine that situation and report on Tuesday. That's what we did. Honourable Sumani.
Right Honourable Speaker, I thank you so much, and I also welcome colleagues who have brought this matter to the attention of this House. Right Honourable Speaker, I have been a university lecturer before. I have been a university lecturer. I taught at the Islamic University in the Faculty of Law for over 10 years. The challenge we have, Right Honourable Speaker, is to try and create a policy for one institution. That is going to create a very big problem. Number two, Right Honourable Speaker, I am aware that in this country there is a Uganda Vice Chancellor's Forum. Can we benefit from the official position of the Uganda Vice Chancellor's Forum? It is even provided for under the Universities and Other Tertiary Institutions Act. So can we know the official position of the Uganda Vice Chancellor's Forum in as far as this matter is concerned? Finally, Right Honourable Speaker, it is true you have a petition from students. Honourable Olanya raised this matter and he was giving reference to students from UCU. It is creating a very big contradiction that students from UCU on one hand are approaching their Member of Parliament to create a moratorium on exams online, and again there is another petition. I think it's a fundamental problem. But finally, Right Honourable Speaker, you are going to have another petition. I predict you will have another petition when students are coming to complain to you as a result of examination irregularities, they will come to you over this process. So it is important as Parliament for us to move very systematically. Let us know the official position, and we take a position for all the institutions rather than looking at one institution. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Msasizi, you're not standing? Okay. You'll come last. Savagara. You're not a lecturer.
Thank you very much, Very Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, as we have heard, last time I was seated with Honourable Roland Mugume, and he had a message from one of the relatives from UCU concerning about the exams. And indeed it is true, Madam Speaker, that there has been a lot of pressure to students, to parents, in as far as these exams are concerned. Madam Speaker, we are in an abnormal situations. Abnormal situations require abnormal solutions. Madam Speaker, all universities have been affected. Madam Speaker, even schools. Madam Speaker, I'm an educationist. But our programs, the education calendar has been changed, Madam Speaker. And indeed, we are all affected. For us in secondary schools, we are giving online assignments. But Madam Speaker, free of charge, just to keep our students updated and also reading at home, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, our greatest concern that the students were being demanded, pay before you do the exams. And that was where the pain was, that if you are to access these online exams, you must have clear the school dues. But if they are saying that they are not in for clearance of school dues, then that is another thing to think about. But if they must pay before they do the exams, then it's going to affect other students who cannot pay the tuition because of the COVID-19 situation. Madam Speaker, I will propose, as Honourable Vassaro has suggested, that you continue engaging other institutions so that we can get a position which can really be applied to all institutions so that we can move on the same line. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
I don't think we are going to be able to conclude this matter now. So let us carry out more consultation. We shall come back to you after the Easter. Okay, item 8.
Item number 8.
Item 8.
Item number 8, motion for resolution of Parliament to address the effects of COVID-19 on the economy.
You want me to put my papers there? Open.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, honorable colleagues. Madam Speaker, on Tuesday, we presented the assignment that you had given us, this House had given us, on the effects of COVID-19 to Uganda's economy. I presented that report here, but in the terms of reference, we're supposed to conclude it with a motion
So today I'm going to present the motion to that effect. But Madam Speaker, before I present the motion, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Nandal.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And also want to thank Honorable Okupa for giving way. Madam Speaker, the economy is a big issue. Last week, when Honorable Okupa and his team presented the report, the Minister of Finance said he wants to make a response to this report, because that's when you agreed that after the Minister of Finance has made a response, then we'll deal with the motion. Wouldn't it be procedure right, Madam Speaker, that we ask the Minister of Finance, because he asked for time, you granted him, and I think he has not made a response. Wouldn't it be procedure right that the Minister of Finance makes a response and the proposals, because he was going to come with the stimulus for the economy. Otherwise, if we don't have the stimulus, we as Parliament, we may have a crisis. So, Madam Speaker, wouldn't it be procedure right that the Minister of Finance comes, makes his response, and the proposed stimulus, so that when we move this motion, we're in line with what will make the economy move. Because otherwise, we could speak for ourselves, and the Minister of Finance will come and say, business.
Honourable members, the Minister was here on several occasions. He failed to present the statement. He asked for time. We gave it to him. How long are we going to wait? Present our motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In the normal circumstances, that should have been what should have been done. And you know, the Minister has kept promising that it's going to come. But on that day when I presented this report, both the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister said they had nothing useful to add to the report, and they were happy with the report. So, Madam Speaker, allow me to make this comment. When the head of state was giving us the last address, he did comment about our report. But, Madam Speaker, I think the Prime Minister or the Minister of Finance, who was here, and they agreed and said this was a very good report, did not brief the President correctly, because the issue the President was trying to add are the issues that are on the report. And today, Honorable General Moses Ali is here. I will give him another copy to deliver to His Excellency the President. Madam Speaker, the motion for the resolution of Parliament to address the effects of COVID-19 on the economy. Whereas the outbreak of the viral disease COVID-19, which started in December 2019 in Wuhan, China, has spread to different regions of the world, including 44 or more confirmed cases in the Republic of 44 cases. That was by that time, there were 44 cases. But as of today, there are 52 confirmed cases in the Republic of Uganda, and constitutes a threat to the public health. And whereas, Madam, I need to correct the figures that we have as of today, whereas as of today, 1,447,471 cases. 3 months into the pandemic, there have been more than 1,447,471 cases confirmed, occurring in over the 203 countries, territories, with 145 recoveries, and more than 83,401 deaths. Noting that there is a risk that persons who have recently been in contact with those affected by the infectious disease caused by COVID-19 might be infected with that virus and infect others before experiencing symptoms of illness. Further noting that events attended by a large number of people are recognized by the World Health Organization as facilitate the respiratory illness transmission, and that these have already been banned along with a total lockdown to clamp on the movement of persons and curb the spread of the virus. Recognizing that there are only 447 ambulances in Uganda, of which 179 belong to government and operate in the Greater Kampala metropolitan area. 96 belong to the private for-profit facilities, and 172 belong to the non-governmental organizations, members of parliament, and private not-for-profit facilities. Aware that COVID-19 is projected to heavily impact industrial production, sales and investment, and that the economy is already performing at a rate that is 2.7% slower than the projected 6.7%. Further aware that the Bank of Uganda issued a statement on March 20th reiterating the commitment to provide exceptional liquidity assistance for a period of up to 1 year to financial institutions that might need it, ensuring that the contingency plans of the supervised financial institutions guarantee the safety of customers and staff, putting in place a mechanism to minimize the likelihood of the sound business going into insolvency due to lack of credit, waiving limitations on the restructuring of credit facilities at financial institutions that may be at risk of going into distress, and that it is working with mobile money providers and commercial banks to ensure they reduce charges on mobile money transaction and other digital payment charges. Appreciating that the pandemic has overwhelmed economies with robust health structures and systems in comparison to Uganda, and has resulted in the widespread despair and anxiety over the short and long-term economic effects it is likely to have on the global, regional, and local scale. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this House that government is urged to, 1, step up its tracking, testing, isolation, treatment program with more support to the Uganda Virus Research Institute and Ministry of Health, and strictly enforces the lockdown to minimize human interaction and contain the spread of COVID-19. 2, support the national medical stores to ensure that protective gear, medicines, medical supplies, and equipment are available for timely delivery to the existing health facilities and any other spaces that have been designated as treatment centers during the outbreak of COVID-19. 3, ensure that all government vehicles attached to non-essential departments that have been affected by the lockdown are deployed to provide transport for health workers across the with immediate effect. 4, procure ambulances for both air, land, and water ambulances. To all health center force in the country, services for evacuation of critical patients that are far from Kampala but are in need of super specialized cases. Set up a consolidated national emergency response service that centrally coordinates all emergency services, including ambulance and fire brigade services. Prioritize the implementation of interventions enumerated by Bank of Uganda to ensure that the country maintains a sound fiscal policy for economic stability during the COVID-19 pandemic and over the next 1 year. Urgently address the issue of the national fuel reserves to handle emergencies such as the current pandemic. Promote culture of saving and investment in the citizenry and adopt it as a national philosophy to replace the culture of expenditure and consumption as embraced by Ugandans before this pandemic. Invest in silos. This is now in the agriculture sector. Invest in agriculture, especially in the areas of silos and other modalities in the area of food storage, preservation, processing for value addition, distribution, to ensure that in the event of reoccurrence of a similar outbreak, there is sufficient food to feed the vulnerable.
Order.
9, engage the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, World Health Organization, UNICEF, Gavi, and other development partners who have indicated that stimulus packages are available for countries such as Uganda to secure additional funding to bolster the national response of COVID-19. 10, further engage development partners that have already committed funds to the health sector in the financial year 1920 and 2021 to consider front-loading and reallocating the funds to cater for the COVID-19 emergency programs. 11, consider suspending the contributions to NSF by employers for 90 days to allow employers to recover from the shock of the pandemic and the related lockdown. The government should consider directing the landlords to defer collection of rental fees for the next facilitate and fast-track the enactment of the National Health Insurance Scheme Bill 2019 to accelerate the much-needed improvements in the health sector. That the government guarantees that National Water and Sewerage Corporation, Umeme Limited, the main providers of water and electricity facilities, respectively, be engaged to suspend disconnections for the next 90 days to ensure that the workforce that is working from home have reliable access to water and electricity. 15, ensure that stringent security measures be put in place, especially during the duration of the lockdown, to guarantee the security of all persons and property in view of the increasing insecurity arising from the scarcities caused by interruptions to production, transport, and employment in the informal sector. 16, that all MDS adopt and adhere to the cost-saving measures geared towards ensuring savings by cutting back on non-critical activities such as travel abroad, workshops, training, and procurement, other than those critical in the management of COVID-19, and equipping and strengthening of the health facilities in all levels. Ensuring that COVID-19 fund is created, a COVID-19 fund is created to hold all funds appropriated and donated by both the private sector and development partners, that these funds are ring-fenced for activities related to COVID-19 epidemic. Madam Speaker, those are some of the recommendations that the committee that this House constituted, that constitute myself, Honorable Guma Gumisirisa, Honorable Kaisa Justin, Honorable Atim Joe Ngom, Honorable Sereko Muhammad, Honorable Winnie Kiza, Honorable Algon Silas, presents to this House. And Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Honourable members, this motion presents much of what we have been discussing. So they have captured our thoughts. So I think I want to just put the question that this motion be adopted. Honourable members, I put the question that this motion be adopted. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it. Item 9.
Item number 9, motion for adoption of the reports of the sectoral committees on the ministerial policy statements and budget estimates for financial year 2020-2021.
Honourable members, on the point of procedure? Yes, Honourable Cooper.
Madam Speaker, the point of procedure I'm raising up, Madam Speaker, last time we met here, Madam Speaker, you did guide this House that the committees do not have to meet individual and sectional committee meetings. So, and because of the challenges, because of the effect of COVID-19, so you limited the level of interaction. Madam Speaker, looking at the list of the committee's reports here, I want to move that that we suspend Rule 148.2 that requires the House to consider the sectional committee reports and refer the approved recommendations to the Budget Committee for reconciliation, harmonization, and consolidation not later than the 30th day of April each financial year. So I want to move that that rule be suspended such that the reports, given that, Madam, listening to you today, the rules, the guidelines you gave are going to limit our participation. And given the time that's required for us to sit here, we have always to close at 5 p.m. That's the reason why I'm moving under this rule, that we suspend that rule and allow these reports go straight to the Budget Committee. Then we can go and add if we have issues in that committee to move them, Madam Speaker.
Honourable
Madam
members,
Speaker.
thank you. Is it seconded? Yes. Seconded. Okay, honourable members, in the past we would have actually given maybe 2 days to each report. We listen, they present, we argue, then they go, finish, and then go to the Budget Committee. But in the circumstances, this is going to be very hard. They have sat within their committees, made their recommendations. The request now is that if you agree to the suspension, the reports will now go to the Budget Committee. If there are members who have more issues there, they can go and handle with the Budget Committee. Honourable members, I put the question that Rule 148 to be suspended as proposed. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. To serve it. Can I now invite the Chair of the Public Service and Local Government Committee to lay his report?
Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, I beg to lay a report of the Committee on Public Service and Local Government on government ministerial policy statements and budget estimates for financial year 2020 and 2021. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, I beg to lay.
Thank you very much. The report is sent to the Committee on Budget for perusal and final report. East African Community.
Sanitizer. Hey. This sanitizer. Madam Speaker, in accordance with the provisions of Article 155(4), the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, and rules of procedure, I beg to lay the current budget proposals and estimates for financial year 2020-2021 for the East African Community Affairs. I beg to lay.
Thank you, Chair. Send the Budget Committee for perusal and report back. Tourism, Trade and Industry. Tourism. Chair of Tourism. What's the point of order?
Right Honourable Speaker, when one has been lifted by God to a certain position, the person obliges and goes to the right position. I have seen one honourable colleague who has been lifted to a level of minister, and he has decided to hide himself. And yet there are seats for ministers. There are seats in front here. He is sitting in order for Honourable Raphael Magesi to hide, and yet he is now a minister who is supposed to occupy the front bench. He is in order. And he has been really for that question. He is in order to be there.
Honour Minister, you have a place on the front bench. Please move. Chair of Tourism.
Right Honourable Speaker,
On behalf of the Committee of Tourism, Trade and Industry, I lay on table a report on the Committee of Tourism, Trade and Industry of the budget of the Ministry of Statements and the budget estimates for the financial year 2020-2021. A report signed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members of Parliament. I beg to lay.
6. Sent to the Committee on Budget for perusal and report back. Committee on Information, Communication Technology and National Guidance.
The Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay the report on information, communication technology and national guidance on the ministerial policy statement and budget estimates for the financial year 2020-2021. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, I beg to lay.
Honourable members, to send to Committee on Budget for perusal and report back. Committee on Education and Sports. Chairperson, Education and Sports. I thought I saw Honourable Polot. Not ready? Committee on Gender, Labour and Social Development.
Speaker, I agree to on table as guided, but I beg you most humbly for the first time to allow me answer one question on members have been demanding from our committee. It is about the question of funding for SEDGE, the program for older persons. People have been asking me many questions about SEDGE, but I want all members to know that we do not have 45 billion shillings, and it will be up to you to engage the budget committee and other matters to make sure that we get this money and have a national rollout of such. Right on Speaker, I beg to on table the report of the Committee on Gender, Labour and Social Development on the Ministerial Report Statement and Budget for the financial year 2020-2021.
Thank you. Honourable members, to send the Committee on Budget for perusal and report back. Committee on Foreign Affairs.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay on table the report of the Sectoral Committee on Foreign Affairs on the Ministerial Policy Statement and budget estimates for the Foreign Affairs sector, financial year 2020-2021. Right Honourable Speaker and members, I beg to lay.
To the Committee on Budget for perusal and report back. Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the report of the Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries on the Ministerial Policy Statement and Budget Estimates for the financial year 2020-2021. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I beg to lay.
Thank you very much. Sent to Commission on Budget for perusal and report back. Committee on Health. Committee on Health. Committee on Physical Infrastructure.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay a report on the Committee on Physical Infrastructure on the budget estimates and sector ministerial policy statements for the financial year 2020-2021, which takes care of two sectors, the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, and the Ministry of Works and Transport. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Sent to the Committee on Budget for perusal and report back. Committee on Presidential Affairs.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I beg to lay the report of Presidential Affairs Committee on the ministerial policy statements and budget estimates for Presidency, Kampala Capital City Authority, and the Office of the Prime Minister for financial year 2020-2021. Thank you so much. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Sent to the Committee on Budget for perusal and report back. Committee on Finance, Plan, and Economic Development.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay a report on the Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development on the Ministerial Policy Statement and Budget Estimates for the financial year 2020-2021. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Sent the Committee on Budget for perusal and report back. Committee on Natural Resources. Committee on Natural Resources. Committee on Defense and Internal Affairs.
Madam Speaker, I'm here to lay a report that takes care of two ministries, that is Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Internal Affairs. I beg to lay a report of the Committee on Defense and Internal Affairs on the ministerial policy statements and budget estimates for financial year 2020-2021. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Sent to the Committee on Defense on Budget for perusal and report back. Committee of Science, Technology and Innovation.
I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay on the table the report of the Committee on Science, Technology and Innovation on the Ministerial Policy Statement and Budget Estimates for the financial year 2020-2021. I beg to lay.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We send the report to the Budget Committee for perusal and report back. Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs.
Right, Honourable. I beg to lay a report of the Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs touching on the Ministerial Policy Statements and Budget Estimates for the financial year 2020-2021 relating to the sector's 11 votes under this committee, which I may not name them. But if I'm permitted, quickly, Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, vote 007, vote 133, Director of Public Prosecution, vote 102, Electoral Commission, vote 105, Uganda Law Reform Commission, vote 104, Parliamentary Commission, vote 101, the Judiciary, vote 147, the Judicial Service Commission, vote 109, Law Development Center, vote 106, Uganda Human Rights Commission, vote 103, Inspectorate of Government, vote 119, Uganda Registration Services Bureau. I beg to lay.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair. The report is sent to the Committee on Budget for perusal and report back. Now, honourable members, 3 committees have not been able to present their reports. That's the Committee on Education and Sports, Committee on Health, Committee on Natural Resources. You have to wait until next week to lay your reports. Now, honourable members, the budget is accompanied by revenue bills, which are being processed by the Committee on Finance. So, plenary will resume on Tuesday to receive the reports from the Committee on Finance, and we'll also see how far the Budget Committee will have gone by that time in relation to the budget.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. And Honourable Members, Right Honourable Speaker, this afternoon, like I told you, Right Honourable Speaker, when the Minister had not yet arrived, there is an issue of our citizens that are not in the country that are under a lot of distress. I was given calls by a number of our citizens in China and many African citizens that have been ejected either from hotels. The story has even been carried on international media like BBC, and their rental apartments. Secondly, in public transport, they are also being ejected, or when they enter public transport, the natives walk out. Right Honourable Speaker, also some people from the Middle East, not all, have intimated that some of their employers have told them that their services are no longer warranted and that they should leave. And many of these people, their visas are bent on the capability of their employers accepting to take them on during this period. Right Honorable Speaker, these people have tried to reach out to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and to the government, but none of them has been helped so far. I would seek your indulgence, Right Honorable Speaker, that through you urge the Minister of Foreign Affairs to come and present a report, the Prime Minister that is here, through you to urge the Prime Minister and government to come up with a report on Tuesday, so that when we appear, we know the status and the welfare of our citizenry that are out of this country, mainly those in China and some, not all, and some in the Middle East. I've also been informed that governments in other countries are trying to give their citizens medical help and food that is required. But citizens from other countries, including those from Uganda, have deliberately been discriminated upon in this measure. So, like in China, one Mutumba sent a message that his wife was told that she could not access medical services because she was not a citizen of that country. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for having given me this opportunity to present this matter. Thank you.
Yeah, now that matter is really complex. I don't know whether it would be fair to the Prime Minister to come on Tuesday on this issue. I don't know, but he's here. What do you say about that plea from the citizens in China? It's worldwide.
Madam Speaker, I'll convey the message to the Prime Minister that a statement is required from him about the citizens of Uganda outside to be made here. I'll convey it, and I believe he will come.
Okay, the government will come and give us a statement on how they intend to handle the issue for our citizens who are scattered all over the world. So, honourable members, we had agreed to close at 5. It is now 5:10, and we are under curfew. So I'd like to adjourn the House to Tuesday at 2 p.m. Next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Have a Merry Easter, despite the lockdown. No, I can confirm that the rain will be, the clouds are forming. The clouds are forming.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for